Professor Arya Patel stood frozen before the massive holographic display at the Global Astronomical Research Center in Mumbai. The simulation she had run for the 15th time still showed the same result. A massive gravitational anomaly was heading straight for Earth's solar system. Her calculations indicated it would arrive in less than 6 years. Director Yamamoto needs to see this immediately, she whispered to herself, reaching for her phone with trembling hands. But before she could make the call, every screen in the facility suddenly went dark. The emergency lights flickered on, casting an eerie red glow throughout the observatory. Then, as suddenly as they had gone dark, the screens came back to life. But instead of their usual displays, they all showed the same message, a series of complex mathematical equations that Arya immediately recognized as a form of universal mathematical language. "This is impossible," she breathed, quickly grabbing her tablet to record the incoming data. The message was elegant in its simplicity, using prime numbers and basic mathematical constants to establish communication. Within hours, she and her team had decoded its basic meaning. "To the inhabitants of Earth, we are the Asteri Collective. We have observed the gravitational anomaly approaching your system. It has already consumed 12 civilizations. We offer our condolences, as your current technological level makes survival impossible." The message sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Within days, the world's leading scientists and government officials gathered at an emergency United Nations session. Arya found herself standing before representatives from every nation, explaining both the threat and the mysterious message. "The anomaly appears to be a roving gravitational singularity," she explained, her voice steady despite her racing heart. "It's like a mobile black hole, but its behavior defies our current understanding of physics. And now we have confirmation that we're not alone in the universe, but our first contact comes with news of our impending doom." In the following weeks, more messages arrived from the Asteri Collective. They shared data about the anomaly's path of destruction across the galaxy, but maintained that their laws of non-interference prevented them from directly helping Earth. Each message contained vast amounts of scientific data that both excited and frustrated Earth's scientists, showing them possibilities they had never imagined but couldn't hope to achieve in time. Director Kenji Yamamoto, Arya's mentor, and the head of the Global Astronomical Research Center, worked tirelessly with her to analyze the data. "There's something strange about these messages," he said one night, after most of the staff had gone home. "They're giving us just enough information to understand our doom, but not enough to prevent it. It's almost like they're testing us." Arya finished his thought. But testing us for what? Their answer came from an unexpected source. Dr. Viktor Petrov, a marine geologist studying deep-sea thermal vents in the Pacific Ocean, made a discovery that would change everything. His research vessel, the Nautilus, had detected unusual energy signatures emanating from the ocean floor at depths previously thought to be inaccessible. Professor Patel, his message to Arya read, "The energy signature matches the quantum frequencies in the Asteri messages perfectly. But carbon dating suggests these structures are millions of years old. We need you here immediately." Within days, Arya found herself aboard the Nautilus, staring at sonar readings that defied explanation. Massive geometric structures lay hidden beneath the Pacific Ocean floor, clearly artificial but far older than human civilization. As she studied the data, another message arrived from the Asteri. "You have found the first key. Now begins the true test." The message was different from the others, shorter, almost encouraging. But before they could analyze it further, the structures beneath the ocean began to activate. Ancient machines, dormant for millions of years, hummed to life. The sea itself seemed to glow with an otherworldly light. Lieutenant Commander Raj Singh, the naval officer assigned to the expedition, ordered an immediate evacuation of all non-essential personnel. "Professor," he said to Arya, "whatever's down there, it's changing. Energy readings are off the charts." As the Nautilus's crew scrambled to understand what was happening, more Asteri ships appeared in Earth's orbit. But these weren't just sending messages. They were positioning themselves in a defensive formation around the planet. They're not here to help us, Arya realized, watching the ships through the vessel's telescopic cameras. They're here to contain us. The question is, contain us from what? The answer lay in the depths below, where humanity's true legacy waited to be discovered. As the ancient machinery awakened, it sent a signal that reached far beyond Earth, echoing across the galaxy. The message it carried was clear. After millions of years, the children of the architects were finally coming home. The first phase of humanity's greatest challenge had begun, and nothing would ever be the same. The submersible's lights cut through the darkness of the Pacific depths, illuminating structures that shouldn't exist. Professor Arya Patel pressed her hand against the reinforced viewport, watching in awe as ancient geometric patterns emerged from the gloom. Beside her, Dr. Petrov adjusted their vessel's sensors, trying to make sense of the readings. "These structures," he said, his Russian accent thicker with excitement, "they're made of an alloy we've never seen before. No signs of corrosion despite millions of years underwater. It's impossible." Lieutenant Commander Singh's voice crackled through their communication system. "Professor Patel, we're detecting increased energy signatures from the central chamber. Whatever's down there, it's still powering up." The submersible carefully maneuvered through what appeared to be an ancient doorway. The structure's walls were covered in flowing scripts that seemed to shift and change as they watched. "The patterns," Arya noted, "they're responding to our presence." Their vessel entered a vast chamber that defied all explanation. A massive circular platform dominated the center, surrounded by towering pillars that pulsed with soft blue light. But what caught Arya's attention were the control interfaces scattered throughout the room. Interfaces sized perfectly for human hands. "This doesn't make sense," Dr. Petrov muttered, studying the readings. "These structures are at least 5 million years old, but everything about them seems designed for human use." As if in response to his words, the chamber's lighting intensified. Holographic displays sprang to life, filling the water with ghostly images of stars and galaxies. At the center of it all, a message began to form, written in the same mathematical language the Asteri had used. "We are the architects," Arya translated, her voice hushed with wonder. "To our children who have found their way home, welcome." Above them, aboard the Nautilus, Director Yamamoto coordinated with research teams worldwide. Similar structures had been discovered beneath the Atlantic, the Mediterranean, and the Indian Ocean, all of them activating simultaneously, all of them bearing the same message. The truth that emerged from these ancient archives shook the foundations of human history. The architects hadn't just been another alien civilization. They had been humanity's ancestors. Millions of years ago, facing a threat similar to the approaching anomaly, they had seeded countless worlds with their genetic legacy, hiding their technology until their descendants were ready to reclaim it. The Asteri aren't warning us, Arya realized as more data poured in from the ancient facility. They're containing us. They're afraid of what we might become if we access this technology. The submersible's instruments detected movement outside the facility. Massive sections of the ocean floor were shifting, revealing more chambers and structures. From these emerged objects that had waited eons to see light again, massive ships, preserved in perfect condition, ready for their inheritors to claim them. Director Yamamoto's voice came through their comm system, urgent and excited. "Professor Patel, we're detecting similar activations globally. The Chinese facility has discovered what appears to be a manufacturing complex. The Mediterranean site houses what looks like a massive research archive. This isn't just a single facility. It's a complete technological infrastructure." But with each new discovery came new challenges. The Asteri ships in orbit had begun moving into attack positions. More alien vessels arrived daily, some supporting the Asteri, others opposing them. Earth had become the center of a galactic diplomatic crisis. Lieutenant Commander Singh coordinated with military commands worldwide as humanity scrambled to understand and protect their newfound inheritance. "We need to secure these sites," he insisted, "if the Asteri decide to intervene directly." His words were cut short by a new message from the facility systems. This one was different. Not a welcome or an explanation, but a warning. The approaching gravitational anomaly wasn't a natural phenomenon. It was a weapon, one the architects themselves had failed to stop. And now it was headed for Earth, drawn by the activation of their ancient technology. "There's more," Arya said, reading through the data streams. "The architects didn't just leave us their technology. They left us a way to fight back. But we'll have to master their science in months instead of the years they'd hoped to give us." Dr. Petrov's instruments detected new energy signatures emanating from the central platform. The circular structure they'd initially discovered was revealing its true purpose. It was a gateway, part of a vast network connecting all the architect facilities on Earth, and potentially across the galaxy. As the platform's energy built to a crescendo, Arya made a decision that would change the course of human history. Against the protests of her colleagues, she stepped out of the submersible, her diving suit's systems adapting instantly to the pressurized environment. The ancient facility recognized her presence, responding to her DNA. The DNA of an architect's descendant. With each step toward the platform, more systems awakened. The facility wasn't just showing them their history, it was offering them a future. But first, humanity would have to prove worthy of their inheritance, and time was running out. "Director," Arya called through her comm link, "tell every facility to begin full activation sequences. If we're going to survive, we need to become what the architects always meant us to be." The oceans of Earth glowed with ancient power as humanity took its first steps toward claiming its birthright. While above, the Asteri watched and waited, knowing that the real test was just beginning. The architect facility's central chamber pulsed with energy as Arya interfaced with its ancient systems. Her mind struggled to process the vast amounts of information flooding through the neural link, a technology that had seemed impossible mere weeks ago, but now felt as natural as breathing. "Neural connection stable," Dr. Petrov's voice echoed through her comlink. "The facility's translation matrices are fully operational. How are you holding up, Professor?" "It's extraordinary," Arya responded, watching as holographic star maps danced around her. "The architects didn't just leave us their technology. They left us their knowledge, their memories. They knew we'd need to learn everything quickly." Above the Pacific, the situation grew tenser by the hour. The Asteri fleet had doubled in size, now joined by ships from other alien factions. Some, like the mysterious Nexus Collective, supported humanity's right to claim their heritage. Others demanded immediate cessation of all activation attempts. Director Yamamoto coordinated with the newly formed Global Defense Initiative from their underwater command center. "The Mediterranean facility is reporting successful activation of their manufacturing systems," he informed Arya. "The Atlantic site has decoded the weapon schematics, but the Asteri are threatening direct intervention." Lieutenant Commander Singh's team had established a defensive perimeter around each facility, but they all knew Earth's military would be useless against alien weaponry. Their only hope lay in fully activating the architect network before the Asteri lost patience, or before the gravitational anomaly arrived. Deep in the facility's archives, Arya discovered why the architects had hidden their legacy so carefully. They hadn't just been fleeing a weapon, they had been trying to preserve their civilization's greatest achievement, the ability to manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe itself. "The anomaly isn't just a weapon," she explained during an emergency briefing. "It's a runaway gravitational manipulation device, created by a species the architects called the Void Makers. The architects couldn't stop it, so they scattered their children across the galaxy, hiding their knowledge until we were ready." The facility's systems revealed more with each passing day. The circular platforms weren't just gateways. They were nodes in a vast network designed to channel and control gravitational forces. The architects had built a machine spanning the galaxy itself, but had never completed it. They ran out of time. Dr. Petrov realized, studying the ancient data. They couldn't finish the network before the anomaly reached them. So they encoded the knowledge into our DNA, hoping their descendants would finish what they started. But mastering the architect's science proved challenging. The first attempt to activate a gateway resulted in a localized gravitational distortion that nearly breached the facility's containment. The second attempt succeeded in establishing a connection, but caused devastating tidal effects that threatened coastal regions worldwide. The Asteri's patience wore thin. Their flagship, a massive vessel that dwarfed Earth's largest cities, moved into low orbit. Their message was clear: stop the activations, or they would stop them by force. Humanity's response came not from its governments or military, but from the depths of the ocean. As Asteri weapons powered up, every architect facility on Earth activated simultaneously. The oceans themselves seemed to pause as ancient machinery manipulated local spacetime. "We will not be contained," Area broadcast, her voice carried by architect communications technology, to every ship in orbit. "We are the children of the architects, and we claim our birthright." The architect facilities generated a gravitational shield around Earth, protecting it from both the Asteri and the approaching anomaly. But the shield was temporary, a demonstration of potential rather than a solution. Through her neural link, Area accessed the deeper archives, discovering the architect's true plan. The facilities on Earth were just the beginning. Similar installations lay dormant on countless worlds, waiting for humanity to find them. Together, they formed a vast machine designed to control the very fabric of spacetime. The architects didn't just give us a weapon, she realized. They gave us a mission. We're meant to succeed where they failed, to build a network that can protect all life in the galaxy, not just ourselves. As the gravitational anomaly drew closer, humanity faced a choice: remain on Earth and hope their newfound technology could protect them, or embrace their destiny among the stars. The architects had hidden their legacy for millions of years, waiting for their children to mature enough to understand that power without wisdom would lead to destruction. In the depths of the Pacific, Area made her decision. The gateway platform hummed to life, its energy building to levels never before attempted. Either they would achieve what the architects had dreamed of, or they would fail as their ancestors had. The time had come to prove that humanity was ready for its next great leap. Global Defense Initiative headquarters buzzed with activity as holographic displays showed the gravitational anomaly's approach. Now less than a month away, its massive form distorted space itself, leaving a trail of destroyed solar systems in its wake. Within the Pacific Facilities Command Center, Area worked with a team of scientists from around the world, their neural interfaces allowing them to process the architect's knowledge at unprecedented speeds. The ancient technology had changed them in subtle but profound ways. Their minds expanded, their understanding deepening with each passing day. Gateway network is at 60% capacity, Dr. Petrov announced, monitoring the energy flows through the global system. The Mediterranean and Atlantic facilities are fully synchronized. We're still waiting on final alignment from the Indian Ocean node. Lieutenant Commander Singh's voice cut through the comm system. "Professor Patel, we have movement in orbit. The Asteri fleet is changing formation, and we're detecting energy buildups consistent with weapons charging." Above Earth, the situation had reached a breaking point. The Asteri fleet now faced opposition from the Nexus Collective and other alien factions who supported humanity's awakening. The orbital space had become a powder keg waiting for a spark. "They're afraid," Director Yamamoto observed, studying the alien fleet movements. "Not of what we are, but of what we're becoming." The truth lay in the architect's final records. The anomaly wasn't just destroying worlds, it was consuming them, using their mass to grow stronger. The Voidmakers had created it as the ultimate weapon, but lost control of their creation. The architects had tried to stop it, but their civilization was too centralized, too dependent on their core worlds. When those fell, their network collapsed. "That's why they seeded us across so many worlds," Area explained during a global broadcast. "Why they hid their technology in separate facilities. They were ensuring that their legacy couldn't be destroyed in a single strike. The Architect facilities had changed the face of Earth. Massive energy conduits now connected the underwater complexes, visible from space as lines of blue light crisscrossing the oceans. Each facility had begun producing new technologies: quantum computers that interface directly with human consciousness, gravity manipulation devices that revolutionize transportation and construction, energy systems that promise to end scarcity. But it wasn't enough. The anomaly's gravity well had already begun affecting the outer planets' orbits. They needed the complete network, including the dormant facilities scattered across other worlds. The Architects left beacons, Dr. Petrov discovered, deep in the facility's archives. Quantum signatures that would lead us to other installations, but reaching them means activating the gateway network at full power. The Asteri's response was immediate. Their flagship launched fighters that took up attack positions around each facility. Their message was clear: activate the full network, and they would respond with force. What the Asteri didn't expect was humanity's response. As their fighters moved into position, every Architect facility on Earth activated simultaneously. The ocean itself seemed to pause as ancient machinery manipulated local spacetime. Aria stood before the central gateway, her mind linked with the facility's systems. Through the neural interface, she could feel the connections forming, not just between the facilities on Earth, but reaching out across space itself. They thought the Architects chose Earth by chance, she said, her voice carried by quantum communications to every facility and ship in orbit. They thought we were just one of many seeded worlds. They were wrong. The truth emerged from the deepest archives. Earth had been special. The Architects had hidden their most advanced technologies here, encoded their most crucial knowledge in human DNA. They had seen something in humanity's potential, a combination of innovation, adaptability, and determination that mirrored their own. As the gateway network powered up, the facility's systems revealed the Architects' final gift. The gravitational shields protecting Earth weren't just defenses. They were parts of a vast machine designed to control the very fabric of space-time. The Asteri flagship opened fire, its energy weapons striking the shields. But the attack had a different effect than intended. The shields absorbed the energy, channeling it into the gateway network. The Architects had designed their technology to learn, to adapt, to grow stronger from every challenge. Through her neural link, Aria felt the network expanding, connecting with dormant facilities on distant worlds. Each connection strengthened the whole, just as the Architects had planned. They hadn't just given humanity a weapon. They had given them a way to unite the galaxy itself. All facilities, prepare for full network activation. Director Yamamoto ordered. Lieutenant Commander Singh, coordinate with the Nexus collective ships. Dr. Petrov, begin the final power sequence. In orbit, the alien fleets watched as humanity took its first steps toward claiming its cosmic inheritance. The question was no longer whether they would activate the network, but whether the galaxy was ready for what would follow. The time had come for humanity to fulfill the Architect's legacy, and no force in the universe would stand in their way. The gravitational anomaly loomed at the edge of the solar system, its massive form distorting the very fabric of space. Through the Architect facility's enhanced sensors, Aria watched as it consumed Pluto, the dwarf planet vanishing into the void like a drop of water in an ocean. Final gateway synchronization complete, Dr. Petrov announced, his fingers dancing across holographic controls. All Earth facilities are operating at maximum capacity. The network connections to off-world installations are stable. Director Yamamoto's voice carried through the quantum comm system. Professor Patel, the Asteri flagship is hailing us. They're demanding one final chance to prevent full network activation. Above Earth, the combined fleets of multiple alien civilizations had gathered to witness what they believed would be either humanity's triumph or its final mistake. The Asteri ships maintained their attack positions, while vessels from the Nexus Collective and other supporting factions formed a defensive screen around Earth. Through her neural interface, Aria felt the full power of the architect network humming through her consciousness. The facilities on Earth were now connected to hundreds of similar installations across the galaxy, each one awakening from its million-year slumber at humanity's call. We didn't understand at first. She broadcast to all ships in orbit. The architects didn't just give us technology. They gave us a choice, to repeat their mistakes or to learn from them. They faced the anomaly alone, tried to stop it with force alone. We choose a different path. The gateway platforms throughout Earth's facilities pulsed with energy as the full network activated. But instead of launching an attack, they began generating a complex gravitational field that extended throughout the solar system. The architect's final gift wasn't a weapon. It was control over the fundamental forces that shaped the universe itself. All facilities, initiate final sequence. Director Yamamoto ordered. Lieutenant Commander Singh, coordinate with our alien allies. Dr. Petrov, begin power distribution through the network. The anomaly responded to their efforts, its course shifting as the network's gravitational fields interacted with its own. But it wasn't enough. The massive void continued its advance, adapting to their attempts to control it. It's learning, Dr. Petrov warned, studying the readings. Just as it learned from the architects. Direct confrontation won't work. Through the neural interface, Aria accessed the deepest levels of the architect's knowledge. In their final days, they had discovered something profound about the nature of gravity itself. It wasn't just a force to be controlled, but a language that wrote the story of space and time. We don't need to destroy it, she realized. We need to communicate with it. Using the combined power of the entire network, they began generating precise gravitational pulses, not attacking the anomaly, but speaking to it in the language of the universe itself. The void responded, its destructive advance slowing as new patterns emerged within its structure. The Asteri watched in disbelief as humanity achieved what countless civilizations had thought impossible. The anomaly wasn't just a weapon. It was a failed attempt by the Void Makers to transcend physical space. The architects hadn't been able to save it, but they had encoded the solution in their children's DNA, waiting for the day when humanity would be ready to try. Through the neural interface, Aria guided the network's efforts. The gravitational fields weren't fighting the void. They were reshaping it, helping it achieve the transformation its creators had originally intended. The massive anomaly began to change, its destructive power channeling into something new. Where there had been a force of destruction, a gateway opened, a bridge between dimensions that the Void Makers had sought but never achieved. The Architect Network had given humanity the power not just to survive, but to transform the greatest threat they had ever faced into humanity's greatest discovery. Director Yamamoto's voice filled with wonder as he announced, "The anomaly, it's stabilizing. The threat is over." The Asteri fleet withdrew, their ships vanishing into hyperspace as they realized the balance of power in the galaxy had forever changed. But the Nexus Collective remained, their presence a reminder that humanity would not face the future alone. In the depths of the Pacific facility, Aria stood before the gateway platform, watching as it displayed images of countless worlds waiting to be explored. The architect's legacy had given humanity the stars themselves, but more importantly, it had taught them how to face the unknown not with fear, but with understanding. "Send word to all facilities," she commanded. "Begin preparation for the first expeditions. It's time for humanity to take its place among the stars." As the gateway platforms powered up across Earth, humanity prepared for its greatest journey. They had not just survived, they had proven themselves worthy of their inheritance. The children of the architects were ready to write their own chapter in the cosmic story. And somewhere, in the vast depths of space, the architects' long vigil was finally over. Their children had come home.